being stripped. What it was about was for us that, we opted to become the champion in recess because of everything that's going around with the Ryan Garcia and preparing for a fight when you've had somewhat I won't say you have a misunderstanding with the promoter that you did the fight with, right? So you're coming to an understanding with the Golden Boy, hopefully. And I'm very optimistic about that they'll come to an understanding, as well as being adjudicated for the fight that you were just in 2 months ago. So to ask Devin to mentally prepare to give the fans and everyone his heart, his soul, you know what I mean, and sweat. At this time, I told him, I said, I choose not to. I'm not going to negotiate both a new fight, a new venue, a new place, and also, litigate these other issues. So, from a perspective of me, not only just being, his pops and manager, but also having a whole lot of respect for him. I'm one of the ones that stood beside him and said, "Bro, no, take a break from it and take care of the business." You know what I mean? Clear your head of any of the bullshit, and we'll get back to it when it's time.
How long of a break you guys talking about? Because sometimes we know that we watch in the ring, like with the Charlos and guys, and sometimes ring rust, being out of the ring too long, can be a detrimental to the sport. So how much time are you guys looking to take off?
Being involved
And
in
Bill,
30,
to add
32,
to that as
32
well, on the
fights.
box record, it sees that you guys are suspended as well. For how long are you guys suspended? For the New York State Commission, it sees that on your box record, it's suspended. For how long?
I don't know. I think I don't even know if what he's suspended for or why he's suspended. Because in terms of boxing business, we haven't did any. I've chosen to take the role of concentrating on the issue with the Ryan Garcia and the PEDs. That being primary, and then of course the financials with Golden Boy. So I've chosen to take the lead role and responsibility, looking at those issues alone and not any of the other boxing business. And you know what I mean? I told Deb that that's what I was going to do, and I've been standing on it. And he's respected my choice and my decision, and that. And he says that he's going to enjoy himself until the business get handled, and that's what we've been on.
Right.
But it's when you talk about Devin at 25, and then you talk about some of the other fighters that are 25. Mill City, do you know any of them? Who else is what else does the landscape look like at 25 years old?
I mean, no, as far as 25 years old, I mean, we got Bam Rodriguez that's fighting this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
He's been trying to become a 3-division champion, fighting the legendary Estrada, very young kid. David Benavidez, 26. Yeah, but yeah, definitely 25 years old. Your son is doing this thing.
Yeah. So even with that, when you're saying a Bam Rodriguez, by 3-division, that stands out. You say 3-division. Well, then Devin has an opportunity of, going up to 47. And of course, us, you have Mario Barrios. You have 140. You have Teofimo Lopez. You have, you have Liam Paro and Australia. You have several fights. You have great fights. For any 25-year-old, let alone an accomplished 25-year-old like Devin. So I believe that the future is bright. But now it's the time to to be the carefully businessmen that we should be. You know what I mean? And others, because they're being exposed.
Question. Yesterday, did you see the comment that Oscar De La Hoya put out there about Devin? Did you see the comment?
Yeah.
And how you feel about it?
Well, that's another thing. That's what I mean is with it being the Devin Haney era, where a promoter comes out and says the most stupid shit in the world that Devin can't sell.
He's talking about pay-per-views.
Well, what I'm saying is, what can Oscar sell? You understand what I mean? He can't sell shit. No one is going to go buy an Oscar De La Hoya pay-per-view. So when he says that, fighters take, we take a back seat. We take a back seat to the promoters and that they're going to promote. But who the fuck is coming out to see Oscar De La Hoya and what he's talking about? No, they use the fighters to promote. And unfortunately, Ryan Garcia elected to sensationalize other areas in his life that he was going through other than just promoting the fight and promoting the fighter that he's fighting, but he was promoting the stances that he takes on certain things. And I said that from the beginning, the onset. I said, well, he's, as Ryan Garcia, King Ryan Promotions, so we call it, he opted to promote in a different kind of way. Now, Oscar, who wants us to believe something else, he comes out and says this stupid shit about Poppy and all this other shit. But the people aren't stupid, man. You know what I mean? The people are not stupid in the sense of, Devin did the best that he could to ensure and to deliver the fight. The uncertainty that the fight presented was not on our part. So for Oscar De La Hoya to come out with the unprofessionalism that he's known for, and only shoot himself in the foot. To start talking about the fighter can't sell when you partnered with him to lead the strategism up for him to do it. Now, the thing about that is that Oscar has stepped out, in his superfly suits and all the shit. He says, well, it's only 3 promoters. And he says that, figure it out that he happens to be one of them. So if anybody is selling or not selling, then I guess the onus would be put on those 3, if you will, because of the juggling that goes back and forth. Oscar, we don't need Oscar to do anything on our side. We've gotten to where we are now without Oscar. We tapped him on the shoulder to put on an event. The fighter that he had, he wasn't able to control, coerce in any kind of way. He kind of just, lay it in the back and just took the dumb road. And now he jumps out that he's, he's Albert Einstein, which he's no more than Charlie Brown. Fighters we signed with the fight. We signed with the promoter because the promoter has the relationship with the network. If Oscar didn't have the relationship with the network, then no one would need him or any of his shenanigans. Period.
Can you go straight to a network? Can DHP Promotion go straight to a network and try to make a card happen?
We're definitely in a position, and we're redefining what boxing and how boxing should be approached. Once again, the Devin Haney era. Now, some of these things that we're doing, of course, we take the brunt of criticism and all that, but hopefully, it'll be another father and son team or another fighter or something, you know what I mean, that'll receive, that'll receive some of the retribution, so to speak, even if we don't get it.
What's the relationship with you and Eddie Hearn now? You know what I'm saying? Did you guys officially part ways?
There's no necessarily parting ways in business, and especially the boxing business. And I don't want anyone to misunderstand that. I don't want anyone to be scared businessmen or be scared fathers or any of that. If you got the goods, then you got the goods. If the people want to see the fighter, then the promoters, the networks are forced to put them on, because that's just about delivering the best content, of course. And then if you don't, then you'll be forced to close the doors on boxing programs in general, whether it have been HBO or whether it be Showtime. But when you talk about direct to consumer, then we're direct to our audience. So we know, and we can feel the heartbeat of the people. I can look and see that it's behind us, the work we didn't put in. You know what I mean? We didn't did it for the people at 25.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
Right. That's right. Talk that shit, cuz.
And the best is still yet to come.
You know, when you last time we talked on Before Champ, we talked about you being a solo promoter, that you would be able to, jump on any network, work with any promoter.
Show them
At this
straps,
moment in
cuzzo. Show them
time,
straps, cuzzo.
we
Show them
talk,
straps, cuzzo. Show
Eddie
them
Hearn,
how we do, baby.
Eddie,
There you
Eddie
go,
Hearn has spoken
cuz.
upon.
There you go. That's what it's listen. That's what it's all about. The history books. And that's what Zab turned us out on. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. That's what Zab turned us out on, right? Mm-hmm.
That's the big one. Mills, we got it, baby. Let's go. I got some more in the room too. I gotta go. I gotta get
That
on.
green,
They high up. That's why I gotta go.
What's the name? But I don't want to mess nothing up on the thing. But I'm
Ooh.
gonna show them there on that
they
face
like
on there. You see that?
Show them that.
that green belt. Y'all like that
Show
green
them
belt. I'll tell you.
that, baby. Comments, come on, talk to us, comments. Now we can talk. Now we can talk. What's up? Let's show the guy what we made of. Man. This shows what you made of. What your picture? Show me your pictures, cuz. Show them the pictures. The pictures on there. Show who's your company? Who you aligned with? Who you in great companies with? Show me. I'm waiting. Show me the companies you with. That's what we talk about, baby.
So Bill, like, a lot of promoters want to sign, fighters for like 3-4 fight deals, keep them over the long term. When it comes to Eddie, it seemed that you guys didn't want to do that, and he felt like he was like a disloyal. He felt disloyalty to that situation. Is there any like, where do you feel like you guys are gonna move
Eddie, knock it
forward?
off. Easy. Eddie, don't, what do you say? Don't ruffle your feathers, Eddie. No, no one knew you in the United States until I knocked on your door and said it would be a great relationship. It would be a great opportunity to bridge the gap between a following that Eddie has in the UK, which will be a wonderful signing for him to let the UK know that he's done here in the US, having a Devin Haney, a sought after, you know what I mean, at that time, contender. He wasn't a champion. So it was a great partnership. It continues to be a great partnership. But in the United States, you're not kicking ass unless you bossing up. You know what I mean? And if it has to be a misunderstanding that we're workers and not bosses, right? If he says that he didn't understand or he needs to see us stand on it, well, Eddie, that's where we were when we knocked on the door and turned you up before he got Canelo and before, Ryan was there. And, before the zone, when we told him that digital television was the way to go, that you were going to be watching and getting it live right here, the boxing business, you know what I mean? On a digital platform. So we've been there. We talk. We don't just talk the talk. We've walked the walk. You know what I mean? And before before the perception is that we are anything but bosses, oh, you know what I mean? Sleep in a tent and drink muddy water out of a hollow log. You did.
Now Eddie's walking the walk right now with signing Jerome Boots Ennis, and Supremacy.
A great signing out of Philly. You did a great signing out of Philly. But what Jerron Boots Ennis is going to do in Philly, he's going to do for himself because Eddie Hearn can't help him in Philly. You might want to call Billy. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, because that's not going to help. Now, what we have to do as fighters is to continue to help ourselves, to continue to get out there and push it. You know what I mean? Eddie has a big roster. You know what I mean? He has a Jerron Boots Ennis. He has a Richard Hitchinson. He has a Liam Paro. He has a lot of guys.
Subriel
But
Matias.
Subriel Matias. But it takes those guys to get down for themselves as well. You know what I mean? And the more that you're getting down for yourself, the more that you're representing, then you'll probably look at the relationship a little bit different. And it's not saying that there's anything wrong with Eddie because he's a great promoter. You know what I mean? But when you talk about in the UK and you talk about the US, we kicking ass around here. We're doing what we're supposed to do is bringing awareness to the fight, bringing attention to the event. You know what I mean? And getting in there and backing it up and giving a quality competition, whether it's Devin Haney, whether it's Amari Jones out of Oakland,
Shout
undefeated,
out to Omari.
or Shamar Canal. You know what I mean? Representing that New York as well. But to come out and say something, dog, you don't. The people that fuck with us don't even know who Eddie Hearn is or know who Oscar De La Hoya is. You know what I mean? Devin is fresh. He's new, and even the trolls, the people
They don't know who
that's the
Oscar De La
haters,
Hoya is.
huh?
They don't know who Oscar De La Hoya is.
No. No, if you go to East Oakland, if you go to East Oakland and you go in my neighborhood, they won't know who Oscar De La Hoya is.
Okay.
You know what I'm
So
saying? They won't know who Eddie Hearn is. They're gonna know who Floyd Mayweather is. You know what I'm saying? Right? But they won't necessarily just say who Oscar, or you say Oscar De La Hoya walks past and they know who he is. And that's no shade to him. That's no shade to Oscar as well. We're only keeping it real and celebrating our fan base and what we've done and what we've brought to boxing since Real Devin Haney TV. You know what I mean? Right?
there's a narrative going out there saying that now with all these new signings with Eddie, now he's making money versus sponsoring money going to some of these fighters. I mean, what would you have to say about that narrative that's going on?
No, he's a heck of a promoter, right? He's a heck of a promoter, and good luck to him. You know what I mean? But when we were talking about the narratives of what Devin Haney hasn't done, what DHP hasn't done, right? No, we've been in it. We've been in the big events. We've been in it. We've been in pioneering boxing. From linear to the digital platform.
Okay. Now, how would it, like, as far as you looking at this landscape? Shakur Stevenson got one more fight in Top Rank. What happens? What would you feel like if Eddie signs him? Like, how would that feel?
Is what?
How would it feel knowing that you have that relationship with Eddie, and if Shakur Stevenson goes to his stable?
Oh, listen. I wish Eddie and Shakur, the best of luck in whatever business that they do. I don't pick the business for either. I don't, you know what I mean, dictate that at
Do you
all.
think that would
And I don't have
happen?
any, excuse me?
Just knowing you as a manager, seeing how boxing moves, do you see that happening?
I haven't looked into it. So I don't know. I know that Shakur, I respect Shakur's team that he has in place, so I wouldn't say anything against them as well.
Okay.
But that's where I think fighters get the misperception or conception that they're not pulling the loads when the company actually, or the fighter, the promoters decide that they're going to put on a fight. They negotiate amongst themselves, and then they put the offer on the table for the fighters, right? Whether they beforehand or at that point have already gotten the money from the network. The network gives the promoter the money and the responsibility for putting on the event. But the the promoter says that they're out of pocket, that they're out of money,
Not the network.
when the network is the one that put the money up.
Right. Right.
Which then the fighter must recoup. The fighter must recoup before you ever go into the plus. You're still in the negative.
Making money on pay-per-view.
Yes. So the recoup part, where Oscar says, it's not my fault or whatever. Well, that number before you recoup can be here, or in Oscar's case, it can be here. So when he said you can audit, well, if you have expenses, you've turned the budget from here to here. So of course, if every event that you get from the network, you're able to take it and put the expenses, then of course you're going to run a company and you don't care what the fighter is doing and how mad he is or what position he's in, because ultimately it's business at the end of the day. You know, and as a fighter, two fighters, Ryan and Devin, they should be able to decide what those expenses are. Are they here, or here? You can't just take it and then tell them, now, here, I'm going to give you what's left. And then he says, an audit. Well, once again, at 25, you never hear a world, let me get it right, not just a world famous, but a Hall of Fame fighter and promoter speaking about, you can audit me, 25-year-old young man, you 25-year-old inspiration to boxing, because this is the first time you'll get a chance to hear those things. Of course, there are Keyshawn Johnsons of the world that'll be coming behind them. There are Richard Hitchinsons, there are Shushu Carringtons, there are all these guys that need to hear this language. And I'm saying is, so it helps the generations to come. And this is our way of paying it forward, is being transparent. And you know, I mean, it is what it is. Of course, the promoters have their agenda. They have their agenda. They'll get out and talk about the fighter and talk about this and that. But at the end of the day, because the social media following that the fighters have, they ultimately need the fighter and not the fighter needing